All right, we are on air. Hello, everyone. My name is Matt Rubinoff. I am the founder of I'm First and the Chief Strategy Officer at Strive for College. Thanks so much for joining us this evening for an I'm First live chat with colleges. We have an awesome panel of college reps with us tonight. Three who you're seeing right now, and one more who's having some technical difficulties and trying to make his way into the room. So I hope you see a new face pop up there shortly. But to introduce them briefly, before we get to their chance to introduce themselves, we have Joseph Crisco, Senior Admissions Counselor at the Catholic University of America in Washington, D.C., Sadie Reeves is an admissions counselor at Chapman University in Orange, California. Brandon Meyer is missing at the moment, but he's a regional director of admission at Monmouth College in Illinois. And Garth Park is an undergraduate admission counselor at Vanderbilt University in Nashville, Tennessee. So thank you guys for making time to join us this evening. Really looking forward to hearing from you. Our agenda for this evening is to invite our esteemed panel to introduce themselves and introduce their colleges. We're then going to move into a brief moderated conversation. I have a few questions that I want you guys to answer to help us out and help our students out through their college admissions process. And then we'll get to student questions. So students, please use the chat box to share your questions. Those who are joining us through Webinar Jam. We'll also be looking at the comments on YouTube for anybody who is watching live with us on YouTube. So that is our plan for this evening. We have scheduled 90 minutes. We might use up that full amount, but we will see. And the last thing I want to mention to everyone is, for those who aren't familiar already, my organization, Strive for College, is a national nonprofit that believes that every student who deserves a shot at college should get one. And so our mission is to connect those students with the know-how and support that they need. We do this a couple different ways. I'm First is an awesome website all about first-generation college students. You can follow a first-gen student blog and watch video testimonials from first-gen students and graduates from across the country. So I definitely encourage you to check out I'm First at imfirst.org. Strive is also a website and iOS app now where aspiring college students can connect with online mentors to receive one-on-one guidance and support through the college admissions process. You can research and connect with colleges, including the ones that are with us tonight. You can collaborate with your mentor on college essays, complete your college applications together. So if you're someone who is in need of help navigating the college process, go to striveforcollege.org and sign up there to connect with a mentor. So thanks for bearing with me through that brief advertisement. And without further ado, I want to turn it over to our colleges, starting with Joseph. Let's learn about Catholic University. Hey, Joseph, I don't think we're getting your audio. Make sure your mic's turned on.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt. Thank you for the reminder.
There we
Happy
go.
to be the guinea pig. Hi, I'm Joseph from Catholic University. The Catholic University of America was founded in 1887 by the U.S. Council of Catholic Bishops as the graduate research institution for the Vatican in the United States. We are the only university in the U.S. founded by a papal charter. We are a national research institution, but all of our undergraduate programs have a liberal arts component as part of them. We offer 75 undergraduate degrees in 9 schools of study: arts and sciences, business, nursing, engineering, architecture, philosophy, theology, social work, and music. We are also the largest campus in Washington, D.C. over 170 acres, lots of green space, and no city streets running through campus. And we are just 3 miles from the Capitol building. Our students get the best of both worlds, a quiet, calm, peaceful campus, but immediate access to DC as one of only 2 universities in Washington, D.C. with a metro stop on campus. Was that too brief?
Awesome. Wow. No, I mean,
it's
that's well done. I like short and concise. Admissions counselors like to talk a lot, so I think we'll learn a lot. We'll learn a lot more about Catholic as we get into some of the Q&A. But that's a great preliminary intro. Sadie, you want to tell us about Chapman University?
Absolutely. Hi, everybody. My name is Sadie Reeves. I'm an admission counselor at Chapman University. I myself am also an alumna of the university and a first-generation college student myself. So to give you a brief overview, Chapman University is a private liberal arts institution in Orange County, California. We're located right next to Disneyland. So if you're interested in being a part of the happiest place on earth, I like to think we're the second happiest place on earth and not too far from it. But we are a liberal arts institution, so we truly do offer students a really well-rounded curriculum. We also have 9 different schools as well on our campus. Students may study a variety of things. They may be studying civil engineering, they might be studying dance, liberal arts, socioeconomics. Our business school is pretty amazingly well-ranked as well. And since students are really able to kind of take part in whichever majors and minors are truly exciting for them. So I'm getting a little bit of feedback here. Let me take that out. It's like a pop star. And truly do get a lot of well-balanced academics. So they might be studying a major and minor in different studies and truly getting to kind of keep well-rounded education, even through their general education opportunities. You can really choose from a list of about 20 to 30 different courses to satisfy your general education requirements. On top of that as well, we have a truly unique student body that is excited to make a difference on our campus. So they might be doing internships off campus, but more often than not, they're on our campus mostly 5 to 6, 7 days a week. They might be involved in 6 and 7 different academic opportunities, as well as extracurriculars. We offer Greek life on our campus, academic honor societies, as well as some great opportunities for internships, both on and off campus. And a new science building is coming up as well within the next year. And that will be the new home of our engineering school, which we'll have up and running off the ground within the next year and a half. There you go.
Cool. Thanks, Sadie, so much. And over to you, Garth.
All right. Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Garth Park, and I am an admissions counselor with the Office of Undergraduate Admissions at Vanderbilt University right here in Nashville, Tennessee. So we were founded in 1873 through a generous $1 million donation from a man named Cornelius Vanderbilt, which we have named our university after him. And in 1875, we opened our doors. So we are located in the heart of Nashville. We're an urban campus, or a college campus in an urban setting. And so we see students from all 50 states and 91 different countries. And all of our students are taking advantage of 68 different majors and programs offered across our 4 undergraduate colleges. So we focus on offer programs within the liberal arts, also within engineering, music, education, and human development, as well as several other variety of courses as well. We also offer, in addition to our 4 undergraduate colleges, 8 graduate programs, where students can take advantage of our well-known divinity programs, our law school, business school, nursing, as well as one of the top-ranked graduate programs for education as well. We also have right on campus the Vanderbilt Medical Center, which draws attraction to a lot of medical professionals, and it's attractive for our prospective students who want to take advantage of research and job shadowing. So for a lot of our students, we have been identified the last 5 years for having high student satisfactory ratings. As a matter of fact, this year, the Princeton Review says that we have the happiest students in the country. Now, I don't know how you measure happiness, but I do know the fact that we focus in our culture here on balance. So yes, this is a Research One institution where as early as your freshman year, you could begin participating in research with professors and through our Med Center. But also students can take advantage of our 430 different student clubs and organizations. 50% of our students are involved in Greek life. It's a very active and social campus. So students like the fact that they can really get engaged, but then also not only on campus, but off campus. We have over 20,000 different live concerts and events in Nashville. It's not only country music, I promise, but if you like country music, that's really good. There's a lot to take advantage of. Also, we're one of the founding members of the SEC. So if you want to get an exposure to the sports environment and school spirit, we have that to offer as well. So all in all, Vanderbilt is a great place for students to take advantage of a rigorous, challenging research environment, but also get the balance of a college experience.
Awesome. Well done, folks. So obviously our mission is to support students from low-income backgrounds who might be the first in their family to go to college. And that's our audience for this chat this evening. I want to hear from each of you to learn a little bit more about some of the unique programs and opportunities on your campuses for low-income and first-gen students. So want to get us started there, Joseph?
Sure. So one of the benefits of studying at Catholic University is the small class sizes. All of our students in their freshman year study in the first year experience learning community. It's them and 17 of their peers from all different disciplines getting comfortable with how we read, write, and discuss at Catholic University. And that's actually just below our average class size of 19 students with 3,300 undergraduate students and 400 faculty. It's about a 7-to-1 student to faculty ratio. So it's an easing into the academics at Catholic University. But our students are also supported by their undergraduate advisors, in addition to their major advisor and their philosophy professor that is remaining the same all year. The Center for Cultural Engagement connects students from diverse backgrounds in formal and informal settings. One of the most popular programs is the Friday afternoon kickback, where the director of the program opens up his office, couches, TVs, whatever, and students can just kick back from 2 to 7 p.m., just chat about their weeks, how it went. In the more formal processes, we identify first-generation students as we read applications, and we alert the Dean of Students office to first-gen students. They're aware of the issues faced by first-gen students and resources available through their office, as well as the Counseling Center. And obviously, being the Catholic University of America, campus ministry is heavily involved in making our students feel welcome. And the church and ministry is a place where everyone feels welcome at our university, and that's often the first face that students see when they're on campus.
Awesome, thanks, Joseph. And Chapman, first gens, low-income students at Chapman. Oh, your audio, Sadie.
I don't want to get feedback from there. There we go. Thanks so much. So to start off, I'll talk to you a little bit about our Promising Futures program. It's definitely the most collaborative program on our campus. Promising Futures is just for our first generation college students. And we'll actually reach out to students about that first generation college program as soon as they're accepted. We kind of start talking to those students about what will experience as a student in the program. There's a bridge program, so students will actually start that whole experience before they even get on campus. It's a few days before orientation begins. Your parents will come with you if you'd like, and we kind of bridge you to what a university experience may look like if you haven't seen a brother or sister do it, and if parents are kind of interested into what you'll experience as a first year on campus as well. We do a lot of conversations about opening up diversity in every sense of the word, right? So that might be racial, socioeconomic, it might be religious diversity, or just backgrounds and passions and experiences. So there's a lot of dialogue. You make a lot of friends pretty quickly as well. So before you even begin orientation, you have a group of students that you know might have a similar experience to yours, or maybe one that's entirely different, but you come together as a common bond over being a first generation college student. For myself, when I was accepted to Chapman, I kind of looked at Promising Futures as a crutch in some way. And I was like, oh, I don't need that. Like, I don't need to have extra help. But I wish I had taken advantage of it when I had the opportunity, because I think it's an amazing thing to be a first generation college student, or even a low income college student, as I was myself as well. You have so many opportunities in front of you that we try to open up and expand your horizons a little bit to show you exactly what the resources will look like on our campus. And once you have your footing and are able to take a hold of that freshman foundation course and learning what colleges will expect from you, we're going to open that door up even more and allow you to be a mentor to other first generation college students. So it's really a track to help you own your campus and feel like you have ownership at Chapman, but also be able to give back and contribute to the next generation of college students that are coming from, the next step as well. So we offer a Promising Futures program, and there are also some scholarship options for low-income students as well that are just for those first-generation students too. We know we'll talk about that a little later as well.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Sadie. And doesn't seem like Brandon's going to be joining us from Monmouth. Apologize to anyone out there who is clamoring for more information about Monmouth. We're going to invite them back for a future date. But for now, we have these great college reps. So over to you, Garth.
Yeah, thank you. So for Vanderbilt, starting with financial aid, for students that are coming from either a high need, low income family situation, we do have a strong opportunity Vanderbilt program through our financial aid office, where basically for need-based aid, we use the FAFSA and the CSS profile to determine need. And we are a need-blind institution for individuals who are U.S. citizens or as well as permanent residents seeking aid. So basically when we're offering admission, we are not looking at how much a student can afford or at their need for aid. We're basically offering based on merit. And then also in terms of offering aid, we're a no loan institution where fortunately we're in the position that you will not see a single loan in your financial aid package. So these are two promises that and commitments that we make to students coming from different backgrounds to make Vanderbilt more affordable and accessible from students from all backgrounds. Now, in terms of on campus, also with financial aid, we offer 3 merit scholarships as well. So students can apply, and if they earn one of the 3, then it covers tuition all 4 years at 100%. Now, in terms of on campus, we have a lot of different support systems for first generation students. We have the Office of Transitions, where basically it's for students that, again, they're coming from a first gen, they identify as a first generation student and they want to connect with either different faculty members or current students who can give them guidance and support during their 4 years at Vanderbilt. We also have a number of different ethnic, religious-based, and different social groups on campus through our clubs and organizations where they can either connect with those from similar backgrounds, or if they want to explore and learn about other cultures and other faiths, then that's an opportunity as well. One of our biggest hallmarks at Vanderbilt is diversity and inclusion. We recognize that we cannot provide the true research, innovative education to our students without creating equal access to all parties. So we actually have the Office of Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion that focuses on holding the university accountable to the benchmarks and the goals that we have set as an institution for creating an inclusive campus. So these are some of the things that we have where students can find a safe space at Vanderbilt and call it a home away from home.
Awesome. Thanks, Garth. Did you want to talk a little bit about the Mosaic Weekend?
Absolutely. So Mosaic Weekend is a big deal on our campus as well. I actually get a chance to serve on the Mosaic team here in the admissions office. It's where students have an opportunity who have been admitted to the university can come. We have an opportunity to assist them with coming to campus as well. And they just get a chance to explore the campus. They stay. It's an overnight program. They hear from some of our faculty members. They get a chance to connect with current students. And then also we have a number of events where they're seeing some of our members of our Greek life perform. We have a talent show. So there's just a number of different things that take place that it really expresses the cultural diversity that is seen here on our campus. Very cool. Awesome. I wanted to make sure we didn't miss that. I have a couple more questions for you guys, but I want to remind students who are watching with us live, either in Webinar Jam or on YouTube, to send us your questions. We want to get to them. Use the chat window to ask these awesome college reps questions. They can be general about the college admissions process, or specific to one of these institutions. We're here to answer your questions. So please, now would be a great time to start sending them in. So we'll get to them shortly. Cool. So
the next topic I want to talk about is college costs, which are obviously a big deal for so many students and families. And there's obviously a lot of misperception too about how financial aid works and what the actual costs of college are. So I want to have a somewhat honest discussion about financial aid with you guys at your universities. So I guess the way I want to frame my question is, what kind of assistance might a Pell eligible student or someone who otherwise has financial need expect from your institution? Starting with Joseph in Catholic University.
Thank you. For students, we do offer need-based financial assistance, as with Vanderbilt, through the FAFSA and CSS profile process. We know we are a private Catholic university in Washington, D.C., and in the grand scheme of things, among some of the most expensive schools in the country, but we do strive to make Catholic as affordable for as many students as possible. We're unable to meet full need for every student, but about 33%, or about 1/3 of our incoming class, does have full need met. And beyond that, through the application review process, every counselor identifies about 4 students for an additional 50 to award full need. In my experience, I worked with a young woman from a school in Tucson, Arizona, who had the EFC of 0, and we were able to work together to get her to Catholic University. Our scholarships, students don't need to apply for them. They don't influence need-based financial assistance at all either. And we award need-based financial assistance to 90% of our students.
Awesome. Thanks, Joseph. Yeah. Over to you, Sadie.
Similarly, we do not require any additional supplements for students to be awarded merit scholarships. We'll review every single student that comes through the door. And we also will keep a lookout for first-generation college students and students that may need a little bit more need to make college a reality. Several of us on our staff probably wouldn't have been able to go to our colleges had we not been given financial aid assistance or scholarship awards as well. So we know how important it is. At Chapman University, 82% of students receive some sort of scholarship assistance, whether it's financial assistance, financial need, or as well as merit scholarship assistance as well. So we really try to bring those numbers down as low as possible to make it a reality for students that truly want to be at Chapman and already feel at home here. We work really hard with our financial aid office to get your financial aid package back to you pretty quickly after the admission process. And if you receive a merit scholarship, it's all based on your GPA, the rigor of your curriculum, as well as your SAT or ACT score. And we'll take a look at every single student for that way. Particularly with first-generation college students, we have a Thurgood Marshall scholarship. Every single counselor will read applications and identify first-generation college students that have really gone above and beyond, faced an obstacle, and really have been resilient in that way, and have taken it upon themselves to help out their family or their community or their campus in some way. And so we try to award as many students as possible an extra additional scholarship. Sometimes it's between $5,000 and $10,000 a year, but that extra money can definitely help a student make Chapman a reality. For those Pell eligible students, we only require the FAFSA, so it's up to the student to fill that out, and we'll encourage you to do so. Even if families are not sure if they qualify, we want you to do it anyway. That way, when we're able to kind of piece your financial aid package together, we know what types of loans we can offer you, what types of institutional aid that you might qualify for. The lower the EFC, the more we're able to help usually, and depending on your merit, sometimes we're able to meet almost full need. It just depends on the student's profile, but we really work hard to make that a reality.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Sadie. And Garth, how about Vanderbilt? And you did touch on financial aid a little bit already, but anything else that you would want to expand upon?
No, for students, basically, if they're eligible for, if they're Pell eligible, then they would be eligible for university need-based grants. We have institutional grants available as well. Again, in their package, they will only see either those grants or they're also eligible for work study as well. So those are different things that they could take advantage of at Vanderbilt if they would like to also apply for our 3 merit scholarships. Each of them are distinct in nature. We have the Ingram Scholarship that is centered around those students that have that, they're civic minded, but also it fuses with that entrepreneurial spirit. So maybe you started a nonprofit, an organization at your school, and something that involves scaling some type of work that's sustainable, but it's also giving back and it's benefiting society as a whole or your community. Those are things that the Ingram Scholarships targets. Also, we have the Cornelius Vanderbilt. That's our flagship merit scholarship. It's all centered around achievement, high grades, as well as any extracurricular achievement as well. And then we have the Chancellor Scholarship that's also centered around that social justice piece, where students that are passionate about giving back and being a bridge builder with bringing different people groups together, then we have a scholarship for that. And if you apply for, again, all three, it's a full tuition scholarship all 4 years.
Awesome. Very cool. So I want to bring in a couple student questions here that are on the topic of financial aid. And I'll ask them both together and you can respond to each. Because the first from Alana is, what are your general tuition prices without scholarships or financial aid? So I guess, you know, the sticker price as we tend to refer to it, and sometimes that scares people, but again, you know, it's just a sticker price. But then conversely, or not conversely, but on the same token, to help students feel a little bit better, Andrew wants to know, how much financial aid did each of your colleges give away last year? I know sometimes colleges like to brag about the millions of dollars in financial aid they give to their students, and not to put you on the spot, but maybe you guys know those numbers for your school. So please help us answer Alana's question about the tuition, and Andrew's question about the total amount of financial aid your college is giving. Joseph, you want to go first?
Is that me?
Yeah,
Sorry,
do you want to go first, Joseph?
Sure. So the estimated cost of attendance, which is the high estimate of what it costs to attend a college at Catholic University, is about $63,000. That is tuition, room and board, plus a little extra, like spending money, books, fund money, and cost of living. After scholarship and financial aid, most families look to pay between $25,000 and $35,000, your typical private school cost. But being in DC, it's a little higher. Last year, we awarded $60 million in grant and scholarship money that did not need to be returned to anyone, but was given to students to study at the university.
Thanks, Joseph. And Sadie?
Yeah. So the average cost, full cost of tuition, as well as room and board, and some incidentals as well, is going to be about $69,000 a year for Chapman University. That number is really large. Like Matt said, it can be a sticker price and a little shocking. But most students aren't paying that. 82%, like I said, are not paying that full amount. I actually don't have the full number that we've awarded last year off the top of my head, so I apologize. But I do know that typically an average financial aid package for a student that they don't have to pay back is about $29,000 per year. And that's with institutional aid as well as merit scholarships.
Awesome. Thanks, Sadie. Yeah. And Vanderbilt.
Yeah, so the total cost, the average total cost at Vanderbilt is close to $68,000 each year. Tuition is right around $46,500. So right now, close to 2 out of every 3 students on our campus are receiving some type of financial aid. So it's about 65%. So I don't have the total cost number as well, but we are aware that about 65% of our students are receiving some type of financial aid on our campus. And the average price for each student is around $47,000. Some are receiving more than that. Some may receive a little bit less.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Let's shift our conversation to applying and the admissions process. So I want to invite each of you to walk us through your institution's application deadlines, requirements, and highlight anything that might be unique about the admissions process at your school, or how you evaluate applications that you think students might be interested to know. So let's start back with Joseph in Catholic University. Hey, Joseph, are you losing us?
Thank you. So at Catholic University, we do the whole person assessment. We are reviewing both academics and the personal aspects of every student. We are a community on campus, and it's not just a buzzword.
Oh no.
Did we lose Joseph there? It's not just me, right?
No,
Nope.
I think we did. Yeah.
Okay. Why don't Sadie, you jump in there, and hopefully we get Joseph back here shortly.
Sure. So applications and what we're looking for, deadlines, requirements, all of that. So today is the big day for us. This is the beginning of the application process for a lot of schools. And a lot of you might actually be even applying today. So best of luck, and best of luck to admission counselors. But we've got November 1st is our big deadline for early action and early decision students. Early decision is new for us this year. So early decision is a binding contract with the university that you're going to be applying to. That means that if they say, yes, we want you, then you say, great, I already wanted you to. It's a commitment, right? So we do have early decision and early action on November 1st. Those students are all going to actually be hearing back in mid-December, with the exception of our film production program only. That's the one program that our students will hear back a little later, a little bit more application pieces to review. Second deadline is going to fall on January 15th, and that's our regular decision deadline. We have about 5,000 applications that we receive in early in November, then we get another 10,000 in regular decision. So it's not a bad thing to wait, right? We still have a good population that are submitting an application in January, and those students will hear back mid-March. So you still have enough time before May 1st, which is truly that national enrollment deposit deadline where you have to make a firm decision. You have a little bit of time to really make a confident decision in that way, to see what your financial aid looks like and see how you might fit on that campus. We're going to require the Common applications. We are a member of the Common App, and we're going to ask of you the traditional Common App application as well as some Chapman University questions. That ranges from why Chapman University, why are you interested in attending, and something a little bit more near and dear to our hearts, which is social justice and diversity on campus. So we're going to ask you, how are you Chapman, or how would you like to contribute to our community on campus? And that's a little bit more of just explaining your background or your passions and what you want to contribute. And then we're also going to ask you some fun, fast fact questions. So those are questions that we want you to have fun with. They might be, what's your most prized possession? We're going to ask you if you could cook a meal for the admissions team, what would you make for us if you had us over in your home? And we'll also ask you what song we should be listening to while reading your applications. This is what we look like when we read. So it's fun to look it up on Spotify and see your personality. We never are going to admit or deny a student based on their music preference, right? So don't be alarmed. It's just for you to have fun and for us to see a little bit more of your personality. And on top of that, we will require creative supplements if you are applying for any talent majors, a portfolio of sorts. But we're truly looking for a student who is a holistic student, someone who's well-rounded, who gives back to their campus or their community, maybe gives back to their family. If it's your role to babysit brothers and sisters, we want to know that. Or if it's your role to have a part-time job and help out with groceries sometimes, or pick up little brothers and sisters, maybe volunteer in that community. If that's your role, tell us all about it. Passions come in all different shapes and sizes, so it's not just being on a sports team for 17 years of your life. Sometimes it's really having the passion projects that you own and really enjoy that you're doing, right? So we want to know everything about that student. There's never going to come a point where we stop reading an application. We're going to read it all the way through to make a great decision.
Awesome. Really great, Sadie. I'm going to turn it over to Garth. Joseph, if you're still with us or can hear us, we're not seeing you. If you want to work
back.
on...
I can see you guys.
Okay, we can hear you. I don't have your video. I don't know if the other guys have your video. No. Why don't we let Garth go, and then we'll come back to you either with or without video. At least it's good to know you're still there, even if we can't see you. And so yeah, we'll try to come back to you in a couple of minutes. But Garth, why don't you tell us about admissions and applying to Vanderbilt?
So when you're applying to Vanderbilt, We are looking to build our freshman class to each of the 4 undergraduate schools. So you apply directly to one of our 4 undergraduate schools, whether that's the College of Arts and Science, the Blair School of Music, the School of Engineering, or the Peabody College of Education and Human Development. So within our process, it is a competitive process, and it is a selective process. We normally are looking to build a class of about 1,600, around that number each year. So with that, we truly have to employ a holistic review process, meaning that we are looking at academic achievement within the context of your high school. We understand that every high school is different. Every high school offers different curriculums. Some are private, some are public, some are IB, some are AP, some only go up to honors. So we provide personal attention to every applicant by providing you a territory manager or an admissions representative who travels to your high school and understands the context to which you belong to. So with that, we'll look at academic achievement by way of your high school transcript. But then also, because we're holistic, we're going to look at your standardized test scores. We're going to look at your essay. We're also going to look at your letters of recommendation, which we only require 3 at Vanderbilt, 2 from 2 different core teachers, 1 from your high school counselor. And then lastly, we're going to look at your extracurricular activities. Now, your essay is important because it's important to us and to many universities and institutions because it's your conversation with the admissions office. So we want to try to get an understanding of who you are, what your background is, what you want to accomplish. Now at Vanderbilt, there are a variety of prompts that you'll have to respond. And also, I forgot to mention, there are 4 different ways to apply to Vanderbilt, but you only have to choose one. Many use the common application, but you also have the coalition application, the QuestBridge application, and we also accept the Universal College application. So different prompts for each, but especially for the Common App, we have a supplement where we ask for you to just talk about an extracurricular activity or some type of work experience that was meaningful. I might have to talk my office into taking some of those Chapman questions. I think those are some of the best that I've ever heard. But nonetheless, those are the ones that we have to offer. So again, we want to see students that can be a great fit for each of the 4 undergraduate schools. That's what we're looking for, is fit for that school fit piece. But then also we're trying to figure out what makes this student unique that they can bring something to our campus, and do we have what the student is looking for? So in all, I would just recommend for students to be authentic and unique, and we're trying to see consistency throughout your application, whether that's the curious, passionate learner for arts and science, or that student that's passionate for math and STEM, but then also maybe they want to take advantage of our liberal arts curriculum because they play an instrument or they're involved in some type of leadership activity. So those are things that some we're looking for.
Awesome. Thanks, Garth. And I think we have Joseph back now. We lost you fairly early
Okay.
So maybe just start from the top in terms of talking about
for a few minutes, just in case.
Start from the top in terms of talking about admissions and the application process at Catholic.
Okay. If it starts to get a little fritzy on me, I might just turn off the video and turn it back on. That's kind of worked to keep it alive. So at Catholic University, we try to demystify the process as much as possible. We keep it simple and straightforward. We are Common App exclusive. There are no required supplements. We only require 1 letter of recommendation, and we are test optional. We do not require students to submit test scores, and if they choose not to submit test scores, we don't require anything else of those students. You are considered for admission and all scholarships, regardless if you are a submitter or not. We have a number of different deadlines. Today was our early action deadline, the non-binding one. Apply to and consider as many schools as you like. We offer a November 15th early decision 1 deadline. If Catholic University is your number 1 choice, that is the binding deadline. And then we offer a January 15th regular decision deadline. If your fall of senior year grades are going to be a boost to your application, that's the way to go. The same consideration is given for admission and scholarship at early action and regular decision. And we have introduced this year early decision 2, also on January 15th. Our review is a 2-fold review. It is a holistic review, but we start with the academics. We want to know first and foremost, can a student do the work? You'll take a good deal of philosophy and theology at Catholic University as part of our liberal arts curriculum. we recalculate every student's GPA to an unweighted 4.0 scale. That way we know whether the student is in LA or New York City or Kansas, that a 4.0 means the student earned nothing less than an A, not a single A minus their entire career. And then we assign a strength of curriculum rating based on the courses selected by you, the student, relative to what your school offers. We do not penalize students for what courses their school offers. If your school only offers 5 APs and you took all 5 of them, you took the strongest curriculum you could have possibly taken. We then look at who you are, what you're interested in, what have you given your time to, not to see that you're involved in 50 different things, but what are the 2 or 3 things you're really dedicated, into and passionate about. The students at Catholic University are involved and engaged. Over 40% of our students are student athletes at some level, and 98% of our students are involved in community service beyond their freshman year. We look at your letter of recommendation to add context to your application. The essay is the opportunity for your voice to come through. It's an opportunity for you to tell a story only you can tell, and an opportunity for you to show off that you know how to use a semicolon. There is an optional statement at the end called the Catholic University Statement. It is not required, but it is an optional opportunity to share with us why you're interested in Catholic University. And we are need blind. We never consider a student's ability to pay when admitting or awarding scholarship to the university.
Awesome. Really well done, guys. You actually touched on a bunch of questions that we're getting from our students. Let's see where to start here. So I think, Garth, you used an important buzzword that Andrew actually had a question about: holistic admission. And Andrew's question was directed at Chapman, but also the other schools. And I don't want to speak for all of you, but I do believe all 3 of the panelists with us this evening do practice holistic admission, but just want to invite you guys to confirm that. And then also maybe one of you can chime in with a better explanation of what that means for anybody who's watching with us that doesn't understand what holistic admission is all about. Since Andrew's question was directed to Chapman, Sadie, maybe you want to field that for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do have a holistic review process, and you're right, that is a buzzword. So I'm glad you asked the question. A lot of universities will tell you that they are holistic these days, which is a good thing for students. So that means that sometimes even if an application comes through the door, even if it was a very low GPA or a really high GPA, we're going to take a look at the whole application, every little piece that you turn in. So I like to think that a holistic application review is like an admission counselor putting together the puzzle of you, right? So each thing that you add to the application is going to hopefully bring something new to the table so that we're able to fit it all together to understand your passions, your strengths in academics, what you actually like, right? Because sometimes your strengths aren't what you like, and sometimes your weaknesses are what you like because you like the challenge, right? So they're all different pieces that come together to the table. That could be your SAT, or it could be optional, right? It could be looking at a student who has a lot of extracurriculars and then really balances out their academics because they are involved equally in different ways. So I think a holistic review process really means we're taking into consideration each part of your application and really trying to balance them out. So within the context of your school, and also within the opportunity for you to showcase what you like about yourself, what you're good at, and how you want to bring that to the university. So that's just a piece of it.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Sadie. A few more questions here that we're going to get through. I want to remind everybody who's still watching with us to send in your questions now. This is the student Q&A portion of our chat tonight. So we have a few here to get to, but I think we have time for even more. So if you haven't typed in your question yet, now would be a great time to do that. Let's see. Alana has a question about SAT scores being required, and what's the general accepted score. So I think Joseph mentioned Catholic is test optional, which is really cool. But maybe you guys can each touch on again whether you do require tests, and what is the range of test scores typically for your students.
Do we have Joseph?
Yeah, Joseph, I don't know if you're with us. Your video keeps going in and out, but I think you're there. We see you now, but don't hear you.
I don't think I got all of the question, but for test optional, for those students who do submit test scores, the average is a 1250 on the SAT. We will superscore the SAT, but not across new and old, which is not really an issue for this class in particular or moving forward. Excuse me. And for the ACT, it is a 27. Just to reiterate what I said, we're test optional in that we don't require test scores and we don't require any additional hoops for students if they choose not to submit the test score. The best indicator for a student's college readiness is the performance in their selected curriculum and the rigor of that curriculum.
Thanks, Joseph. Sadie?
For us, we do require an SAT or an ACT. It's up to the student. They can take them both. They can take just one. You can take it multiple times. We will super score your SAT. So we'll take the highest section score of each time you take the test and give you one super score to benefit you for merit scholarships as well as admission. Our average SAT is going to be a 1311 or 1310. And then our average ACT is a 28. So it's just average, right? We're going to take a chunk above and a chunk below because of that holistic review.
Awesome. Thanks. And Garth?
Yeah, so for Vanderbilt, we do require either the SAT or the ACT. We don't have a preference for either or. We will super score across multiple dates for the SAT. What we're seeing right now in terms of middle 50% for the freshman class that came in last year was a 32 to a 35 on the ACT. For the critical reading section, we're seeing anywhere between a 700 to a 790. And then for the math section, we're seeing a 720 to an 800. So again, we will go with the highest score that you want to submit to us. Also, we are, for the SAT subject tests, those are optional. We don't require that at Vanderbilt, but if you do feel like you have a really strong score and you want to send that in, then we will include that in the evaluation of your application. And then if you have any other secondary tests like IB scores or AP scores, you can send those in as well. Those are optional.
Awesome. Thanks, Garth. Nathan has a question that's directed to Chapman. Others can chime in if you feel like you have something to add, but Nathan's suggesting that maybe his GPA isn't the best, but his test scores are good. And does he still have a shot at getting in?
Yes, of course. Please submit your application. Because of the holistic review, which is definitely that buzzword still, it's important for us to see what your balance is like. Some students aren't so great at typical classroom tests. Some students are really great at standardized tests. So we want to see what your balance is like. It's also good, I think, to explain it a little bit. Your counselor will probably talk about what your grades look like or the trends, right? If you have an upward trend or you get a little stagnant, maybe there's just an area that you're not as excelling in, right? You might have really strong math skills, but English is not really your favorite subject. So we want to see what type of balance you have in your transcript. Just because you have a lower GPA does not mean that you're not going to be accepted, right? Because I'm not only looking at your GPA, I'm looking at every single piece. So I think it's good to talk about it a little bit in your application and say, I may not be great at A, but I'm great at B, right? And give us the pieces that really showcase your strengths and abilities. So apply anyway, right? You got to have a dream school. You got to have a school that you know is attainable, and schools that are a good fit for you, even if your GPA isn't showcased on the forms that you receive, right? And the pretty pamphlets that we give you.
Exactly. Thanks, Sadie. I think each of you touched on early action, early decision at your schools, but Andrew wants to know, does early action, early decision influence the acceptance rate? Whoever wants to jump in for your school.
So I can start because I know I didn't have an opportunity to, or I forgot to mention our decision plans. So at Vanderbilt, we have 3 separate applicant pools that you can apply to. We have early decision 1, early decision 2, and then regular decision. So for early decision 1, that deadline is actually today, November 1st. And then for early decision 2 and regular decision, the deadline is January 1st. So with early decision, you can take advantage of a smaller applicant pool. We generally see a large part of all of our first year prospective applicants applying at regular decision. So that's why we see a lot of students who are looking to apply early decision 2 or early decision 1 if they know they've done their homework, their research, they're even comfortable with the cost, or they've used the net price calculator on the financial aid website to determine, you know what, Vanderbilt is my number 1 choice. And if I'm admitted, I'm coming. So with early decision, as you know, if you've done your research, it is binding, and we are expecting you to come if you do apply. So those are the things that students have to weigh. With regular decision, you have more flexibility with making your decision. At the same time, it is very competitive at the regular decision process. So with us, we're looking to fill about half of our class through EDs 1 and 2.
Awesome. Thanks, Garth. Joseph or Sadie, do you want to jump in on early action, early decision in terms of, how you view it influencing acceptance rates or your admit pool?
Sure. We take about 50%, a little over 50% in our early action pool. Early decision is fairly new to Catholic University. This is our third year with early decision 1, first year with early decision 2. I think I saw a question on the side about how early decision action influences admission. For early decision, by stepping forward and raising your hand that you will attend, that Catholic is your first choice, we can dip a little lower into our applicant pool for those early decision students, those students who would be more on the margin at early action or regular decision.
Yeah, I think for Chapman University, it does speak a little bit more, right? If you're applying early decision, that may mean that we're your first choice, and that is great for us to see. But it's not to say that those early action students and those regular decision students are not looked at really similarly. I think for most of our universities, we're looking at a student who just genuinely wants to be at our universities and has an interest. So even if you found it a little later in the process, or if maybe your brother or sister went there and you were thinking, no, I don't want to go there yet, and then all of a sudden you're like, hey, maybe I'll give it a chance. We want to see that student no matter what, even if they're applying regular decision, right, and doing a little bit later in the process. So it does speak, right? Raising your hand and saying that you're committed is great. And if you've done your research, it's great to turn it in early, but not necessary.
Awesome. Thank you. A quick question for Garth from Cerrone. Is the TOEFL required for Vanderbilt for someone who's not a native English speaker?
I did see that question, so I'm glad that you asked that. So we do require the TOEFL for students that are identified as international students. So they may be either a student that is attending a school in a different country right now, or it could be a student that has an international or non-U.S. citizen residence, but yet they might be attending a school even in the United States. So we do require the TOEFL for those students.
Perfect. And we have a question from Morgan who about homeschool students, which I think is really cool and awesome. She or he, I don't want to make assumptions. Morgan is interested to know if any of the schools here accept homeschool students, and if so, what is the percentage of acceptance rate, and how do they go about completing recommendations from teachers and counselors? So yeah, I think this is an awesome opportunity just to talk about how you guys treat and view homeschool students in your applicant pool. Joseph, you seem particularly eager to jump on this question.
Yes. So as the reader for California, I see a large number of homeschool students, especially through the Mother of Divine Grace institution. I feel like we get more than our fair share of homeschool students at the Catholic University of America. I don't have a number for it. But we find that our homeschool students are some of, the brightest minds will see. We certainly do accept them. As part of the application process, we additionally require from homeschool students a curriculum and a school report, what courses they took, what was covered, the books read, and then a brief statement about why homeschool was chosen for the student. For recommendations, it doesn't necessarily need to be mom or dad, if they are the teacher, someone who knows you in an academic or professional capacity, a youth minister, a boss, a supervisor of some sort, or a counselor that you may work with, someone who can speak to your character, and if they can touch on academics as well, that's great.
Awesome. Anything that you'd want to add or jump in with, Sadie or Garth, for your respective institutions?
Yeah. We're very similar at Chapman, and we're looking for students holistically still and within the context of what you've been given. So if you're checking in at any type of academic center, you can have a recommender from someone who has tested you or seen your abilities either in the classroom or outside of the classroom as well. No acceptance rate off the top of my head. I'm not sure how many students we receive, but it's something that you can absolutely email us and we can get back to you too as well.
Perfect.
And same thing with Vanderbilt. As long as a student has submitted all the required application pieces, then they will definitely be considered in our process. We do see a number of students. I myself don't work with a lot of that student population. We actually have an admissions officer that reads for homeschool students. And so if you ever need to contact, to receive more information, you can always either visit our admissions website to receive more information or to contact your admissions counselor. But again, we have special circumstances where we can kind of understand the academic and social preparation for that student to attend and be a viable candidate at Vanderbilt. So we do see students who are applying and coming to Vanderbilt from that homeschool population.
Cool, great. So Savannah and Jadalyn have similar questions that I think I'm going to ask together. Savannah wants to know what the student life is like. And I think she has in mind kind of dorms and housing, clubs and organizations. Jadalyn, she's getting right to it. She wants to know, can you share what the real campus vibe is like for students? What can I really expect that isn't shown on a brochure? So I'll let you guys kind of respond to those related questions, how you see fit. But I think it's they're both great questions. Joseph?
Let's let someone else go first. I don't think everyone needs to follow me every time.
Okay,
not a problem.
Go in
I can
reverse.
start us out if you want. Oh yeah, reverse is fine.
Yeah, I don't mind starting. Absolutely. So at Vanderbilt, we're a 4-year residential campus. So what that means from your freshman year all the way to your senior year, we guarantee a bed and a dorm room for you. What's pretty unique about your first year is that all 1,600 freshmen live at the Martha Rivers Ingram Commons. And so the Commons has been a great transition tool for all of our first year students. We actually have faculty members that live amongst the students at the Commons, and they're not there to chaperone or police the students, but they're there as a support system, and they live there with their families and their pets. So you see a little bit of everything. I think students really like the fact that it feels like a home away from home at the Commons. There are a number of activities and events that take place all throughout the week, and again, students like that. But again, all 4 years, we have residential housing, upperclassmen housing for our students. And then on campus, students, again, take advantage of the 430 different clubs and organizations. It's a very active and vibrant campus. We're really known for our social and our civic engagement. So students really love to give back. Martin Luther King weekend, we actually close campus, and there are a number of community service projects that students can sign up for. So students who want to get involved in that, that's a great opportunity. We have an organization, which is our largest student club, known as Alternative Spring Break, which started at Vanderbilt in the 80s. And it gives students to connect with their friends and other peers and sign up to do a week-long service project in a different city. So we see students taking advantage of that. And then also, like I mentioned earlier, being a part of the SEC, you get a chance to enjoy some of our sporting events. If we're playing all types of Power 5 conferences or playing against some Division I programs. We have 15 Division I sports programs. So all you need is your student card and you have access to that. I think more importantly, Nashville and Vanderbilt is known for the music scene and the food scene. So we have a Taste of Nashville program for our dining where you can actually use some of your meal plan off campus at participating restaurants. So students like that, we're in the city, you're within walking distance or like a 1-minute Uber ride to go get some great food. And then also I mentioned the music scene. I mean, you could see anything from Garth Brooks, my cousin. No, he's not my cousin. Carrie Underwood. Or you could see for homecoming, we had Migos and SZA. So you see a little bit of everybody at Vanderbilt. You see a little bit of everybody in Nashville. And students like the fact that we're literally about, again, a 1-minute ride to the Bridgestone Arena to catch some of your favorite artists and events.
Cool. Really great answer, Garth. Thank you. Sadie, you're up.
Yeah, that sounds
Campus
fun.
vibe at Chapman.
Absolutely. So I can say this with 100% honesty because I was a student here myself. And I think I'm still pretty connected to what our student body's doing on campus. It's a great place to be. Like I said, second happiest place on earth, in my opinion. So we do have a lot of entertainment locally right around us. I don't think students get too bored on campus, though, because there are several different ways to get involved. And typically, a student at Chapman is someone who is coming to campus for class and then probably sticking around until 10 p.m. or midnight with all of their activities that they're involved in. So that might be something like Greek life, which is pretty popular on our campus, but a little non-traditionally as well, because 32% of students on our campus are involved in Greek organizations, so a typical social sorority or fraternity. But we do not have any houses on or around our campus. So it's something that students are able to take part in while not being so restrictive. They're able to be friends with different organizations, right? You can be in one organization and also in a choral group, and you can also be on an intramural team, right? You can take advantage of several different aspects on campus, just like you'd probably be doing in your academics as well. So you'll probably be very busy while you're here, but really taking advantage of the type of things that you are truly involved and invested in. On top of that as well, we have a great university programming board that will actually take students to different excursions. So we have a Southern California excursion at least once a month. So students that maybe are from California or aren't from California can really learn a little bit more about our campus location. That might be Knott's Berry Farm, which is just about 40 minutes away. Of course, Disneyland, which is right across the street, it feels like. The beaches that are about 15 minutes away, the mountains about an hour. So you really can hit a lot of different locations pretty quickly in about 1 day or 2 days. And on top of that as well, I think our students are really invested in civic engagement as well. So they are getting involved with community service opportunities. 42% of our students are studying abroad at some point on campus as well. That might be domestic or it might be abroad. So they might be taking advantage of a traditional 4-month semester abroad. They might be doing semester at sea, which is a really fun opportunity for you to visit 11 to 12 different countries in just 4 months while you're on a cruise ship like Zach and Cody taking college classes. Yeah, even these guys watched it.
That's good.
And those students are really coming back to campus and being welcomed with open arms in order for you to get adjusted back to campus life. Our students do live together their first year. Housing is not required for our first year students, but it's guaranteed and highly recommended. We're actually going to be placing you in dorms based on your college. So if you are in our College of Business, you might be with finance students, accounting students, economics students. And so you're not just with your own major specifically, but you still have students around you that have similar interests that hopefully allows you to be a little bit more invested in your academics pretty quickly, have study group options right next door or right in your own room. But at the same time, our first years are still dorming together. So you're getting to know your whole community pretty quickly. We have a lot of different opportunities to be social on campus, but there are also a lot of resources. I like to think we're a work hard, play hard environment. So our students are getting really nitty gritty in the library, and we're focusing on students' mental health and well-being at the same time. We want you to have a good balance of your academics and your extracurricular so that you're well prepped and well rested and well kind of enduring a college atmosphere to be prepped for the workforce when you're done.
Great. Thank you, Sadie. And last but not least, Joseph, tell us about the vibe in DC.
Yeah, well, there's a lot going on in Washington, D.C. the vibe changes every 4 years or so. As a 4-year institution, our students are guaranteed to be in the district for at least one inauguration. We're a residential campus. First and second year students are required to live on campus. About 99% of them do. We do not require housing as juniors and seniors. It's not officially guaranteed, but for the last 10 years, we haven't had any issues having space available for every student who wishes to remain on campus. The vibe on campus is involved. As I mentioned in our review, when talking about our review, our students are involved. It's not the cafeteria at Mean Girls. It's not everyone separated into their own little clique or group. Our students are constantly engaged in a dialogue, sharing their stories, hearing others, and growing their understanding of our world, getting out of their comfort zone. Service is just a part of who we are at Catholic University. 98% of our students continue service beyond their freshman year. We have the Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service, the Mother Teresa Day of Service, a few others as well. Some local options every day, and international mission trips to Belize, Costa Rica, and Jamaica. As I mentioned, over 40% of our students are student athletes. Whether at the varsity level, we have 25 Division III varsity athletic teams. We have 10 club sports and 16 intramural leagues. I buried the lead. I'm actually a Catholic University alum as well. And when I was in a flag football team, I actually recognized 2 University of Maryland football players coming in and playing on the other team. I was like, what are you guys doing here? So some ringers show up to our sports leagues. And being in the city but having that quiet campus, students kind of split their weekend. Friday night on campus, Saturday night off, or vice versa. DC is unlike any other city in the country. A local writer actually once said that Washington and DC are 2 different cities. Washington is the federal government and where things happen or don't happen, but that's its own thing. DC is a unique blend of northern, southern, and international culture. There are whole different types of neighborhoods, each with their distinct attitude, flavor, culture, and nightlife. You're never at a loss of things to do in the city. And it's a world-class city with arts, culture, music. We just opened a new music venue, the Anthem. I'm a part of DC, 6,000 person venue up to the Verizon Center or Nationals Park, all the way down to like DC 9, which is like going to a show in the attic. And we have some really mediocre sports teams, so ticket prices stay low. Students can get out, see DC United for $20, the Caps for $35. A couple of years ago, you could go see the Wiz for 50 cents. It's not that low anymore, but plenty of opportunities to get out. And the whole Smithsonian Institution, so much is free in Washington, D.C. Just take an afternoon after class to check out the Portrait Gallery, the National Gallery, Air and Space Museum, or Natural History Museum. So many options in D.C.
Awesome. Really great job, everybody. We are a little over an hour. We've exhausted our student questions, so I think we're about ready to wrap it up. I want to ask one final question for each of you to respond to that we didn't get from a student today, but we have gotten this question before, and it's going to put you on the spot a little bit, but I think you're going to step up and rise to the occasion. I want each of you to describe your college in 5 words or less. No particular order. Jump in whenever you're ready. All right, who's going to be the guinea pig here?
It would be a total cop-out to just go the Catholic University of America, but that's kind of what we go for students. We are a university, research, liberal arts of America in service of church and nation, and we are Catholic. We are welcoming of all students, regardless of faith, background, or identity, precisely because we are Catholic.
All right, I think that was a few more than 5 words, but I'll let it slide. Thank you, Joseph. Appreciate it.
I think I'm ready if you want me to take on the challenge.
Yes.
So I'm going to give you some just like 5 words that I think really do describe it. So we've got personalized, right? Smaller class sizes. Personalized, committed, well-rounded. I think that students are engaged and also fun.
Awesome. Garth.
Wow. Thank you, guys.
Send us out with a bang.
So I would say, when I think about Vanderbilt, I think that we are innovative, inclusive, collaborative, passionate, and I would say cutting edge. So those are the 5 words that I would use.
Beautiful. Well, on that note, we're going to close for the evening. Thanks so much to our esteemed college reps for joining us and staying late, for those of you on the East Coast. We're going to follow up with everybody. Those who registered for the event tonight will get an email, I think tomorrow, and we'll share the names and email addresses of our panelists for this evening, so you can follow up with them directly if you have any lingering questions or just want to introduce yourself. Vice versa. Our college reps are going to get the information of the students who have signed up for this event tonight and are hopefully going to follow up on their own accord with you guys. So thanks again for making time to join us. Really great information shared and questions asked. I want to remind you again, if you're a first-gen student or will be a first-generation college student, to go check out imfirst.org. If you're a student who feels like you need some more help in your college admissions application process, check out striveforcollege.org and sign up to connect with a mentor who is there to help you. Thanks again, everybody, and have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.